Hello, everyone. My name is Illarion. I'm a web developer and an e-commerce expert. I'm glad to see everybody here. And today I'm going to talk about responsive images. I would like to give an example from my real work. I won't show it, but I will just describe it. Well, e-commerce involves a lot of pictures. Well, we have product images, we have hero images, maybe collection, featured banners, and so on and so on. And a regular e-commerce project would involve around 100 images, and it would equal to 100 megabytes at that. Yeah, we need to optimize it, and we always try to make the size smaller. We always try to make the size smaller, but the store owner wants the store to look its best on any device. So at one time last year we had 2 clients from the fashion industry, and one of them had a Retina Mac with a cool, nice display. So when we used regular images, she was always complaining that on her new Mac, the images look grainy. And well, we tried to explain. I tried to explain that if we improve the quality, the size will go up. And if a store page has 20 products, that would mean about 40 megabytes at least. And that's expensive. And we were supporting mobile first. So that led me to make a research on responsive images. How to make it work. Yes, how to make responsive images work so we can serve smaller images seamlessly to smaller devices and provide the best experience on huge desktop computers. Well, lucky for me, the new specification was established and Chrome started to support it. Google Chrome started supporting both picture and SRC set standards. I'm going to show it. Well, it's not exactly a standard yet, but we can use it right now. Okay. So this is what I found. So we have a picture element that we can use, where we can specify several sources and choose the one that we want to use. And we have a regular image element, but with an additional attribute called SRC set. And we have, I'm showing a small comparison here. So picture element is great. You can control it in almost in any way, but it requires a lot of markup. And it's quite complex. For example, if you want to support a fallback, sorry, for Internet Explorer 9, you would have to add at least 5 lines of code for each picture element. We have templating, but it's quite complex. And picture element is best used for art direction. I'm going to explain it later if you hear this term for the first time. But it's best when you want the exact variant of the image shown in the exact circumstances. Well, if you just want to support smaller devices and lighter connections, you should choose image with an SRC set, as we did. By adding this magic attribute, SRC set, we basically specify several sources for the same image. And we can specify either a Retina flag, it's an X. I will explain it later, or specify the width of the sources using a W flag. So the image element is best for resizing. It's simple, and for me, it was the best part. So it has a natural fallback. It has a SRC attribute, so if the browser doesn't support the new specification, it just shows you the first image. So you don't need to do anything to provide a fallback up to down to Internet Explorer 7. But I wanted to make it even easier for me and for the client and reduce the page load speed time even further. So we've decided to add lazy loading. Does everybody know what lazy loading is? Well, in 2 words, we load the image only when it comes into view, not in the very beginning. So we add a polyfill if we want to support every browser, and we add lazy loading. I'm going to skip it right now. And we require just 5 steps. The first step, we add a regular SRC. You see that I specify a smaller image, the 150. It's in pixels, so we have width 150 pixels. We add data SRC set 150 width, 300 width, and 600 pixel wide. We add them another magic attribute, auto, and we add class lazy load. And the 5th step, we add a polyfill and the lazy sizes, lazy loading library. That requires, so we need only 5 steps. I'm going to go back here. So those magic tools are brought to you by Alexander Farkas. He is from Berlin, and he is author of HTML5 Shiv. I think everybody is familiar with that, either by using Modernizer or HTML5 Shiv directly. Basically, it provides us the HTML5 elements like article, section, what else? Aside in older browsers. And the same guy decided to write a lazy loading library called lazy sizes for images and the polyfill RESP image that would allow us to support the picture elements and image SRC set attributes in older browsers. So that's why we have data SRC set here. The library provides, yes, the library takes the data SRC set and turns it into a real SRC set. And we have sizes here. It also becomes a regular attribute. The sizes auto is very important because in the specification you have to specify an exact width. You just write 300 pixels, and that means that the browser will pick a source with 300 pixels or the closest to it. Well, it examines all of the sources that we have and picks the closest to that width. We can use rudimentary media queries here and use the viewport widths. But it becomes quite complex if we don't know in advance how big the image will be. I mean, what part of the screen will it take? And the lazy loading library, lazy sizes, comes to the rescue. We can just specify data sizes auto, and the library will automatically calculate the required width based on the width of the parent element. So we can just set the image size to 100 pixels and specify the width on the parent element, and it just works. We add the class lazy load. It can be changed in options, but it works every time for me. And we just add to the two script elements to the bottom of the page, resp image and lazy sizes. No need to initialize the library. The library will initialize itself. And as an added bonus, if we add new images via AJAX calls or from our own JavaScript, it will determine a new element, detect a new element, and provide SRC sets and sizes. Yes, here an example. Hey. Boom, boom. As you can see, there was a flash of a darker image. That was SRC attribute. So it loads first. It always loads. The author calls it LQIP, low quality image placeholder. We can use the same image, but in a low quality, or we can use an arbitrary image, a transparent square, for example, to save bandwidth. And as you can see, the smaller image is saying 300 pixels. This one, actually, it's a good example. We have, is it a Retina Mac? I guess so. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Maybe the screen is bigger. So, what? Mm-hmm. Yes, so the screen is bigger, and it was supposed to pick up the 150 pixels image for the first example. But you can see the browser decided to use a bigger image for the middle one. And I have the same markup for all three images. I have just specified data SRC set and sizes auto, and the browser decided to itself which size to use. That's it. And one more thing. Now I'm going to reload it. And you can see that all images have become 600 pixels wide. Why? Because the browser has it in cache. And it knows that we have the biggest image in cache. Why would we need another variance? So it just places the biggest image that it has in all three images, in all three placeholders. Yeah. And that's what I like about this specification, because it gives the power to the browser to decide what image we want to use at this particular time. I believe there will be an option in all browsers in future that would allow us to tick a checkbox and say, I'm on a slow connection, I don't want big images. And the browser will download only the smaller variants. Or I want the best experience. Well, I believe Firefox will do it best first. And any combinations of factors can be used by the browser, not the web developer. We just provide variants of the image, the smaller, the bigger, and the middle, and that's it. We don't decide. Okay, so about browser support. That's an important question. First, I would like to say that we have a polyfill. So basically, we can support any browser starting from Internet Explorer 8. That's what Alexander Farkas says. But Google Chrome has supported this specification starting from version Google Chrome 34. And that was 1.5 years ago. And 2 weeks ago, Firefox started supporting it natively. in Firefox version 38. So we have the two major browsers that fully support the syntax. Safari, both mobile and desktop, supports only X flag here. Sorry. We are in examples, that's why it didn't work. Yeah, Safari doesn't support the width flag. It only supports X flag that we can specify 1X or 2X, meaning a regular or a retina image. That is supported natively in Safari. Width is not supported, but polyfill does that for us. And I have to say the polyfill is very efficient. And Paul Irish, a famous man, actually approved it and endorsed it and said it's very, very good. So we can safely use this technology right now in any browser, and we have polyfill and a natural fallback for any browser, including Opera Mini. Well, I believe Opera Mini would actually benefit from that. Opera Mini compresses the traffic before serving it to user, and if we supply smaller images, it would work best for those who have the small devices. Okay, example. So back to now I have a couple of bonuses. What is art direction? That's what we use a picture element for. Art direction is when we use different images for different devices, for different screens. Well, it looks like that. It's a popular article by A List Apart, and as you can see, they have 4 different images, 4 different pictures for different screen sizes. This is the biggest one. This is a regular desktop, a tablet, and the phone. And there's some irony in that. And so this is called art direction. If you want this type of control, you have to use picture element. But the polyfill resp image supports both. So if you use resp image JS, you get both elements in every browser. And lazy loading library also supports it. Okay, so while we change images, it's best to minimize page reflows. And there are several techniques to achieve that. Well, the best one, if our server knows the image dimensions in advance and have a way to supply them to us, we can specify image dimensions so the browsers have knowledge of the image size and can minimize reflows. Second one, we can use CSS intrinsic ratio scaling technique. That's my favorite, where you specify a container, a placeholder. So you can take any div element, section aside, or any block element, and specify its ratio. So it has 100% width and a height based on percentage. So we can take a popular ratio, for example, 3:4, 4:3. We have it, no. It's 16:8, by 9, sorry. And we can specify it in the element by using a padding button. And basically, we put the image inside and position it absolutely. Well, I have a link in my presentation. You can read about it more by going through, by using the link. I would hope to make a lightning talk about it in future. And the lazy sizes plugin has aspect ratio. The lazy sizes library has an aspect ratio plugin that does some work for you. If you're looking for a JavaScript solution, please try that. And a final bonus. Do we have to prepare all those different images by ourselves, scale them, parse them using Photoshop or Paint? No. Well, I use Shopify platform in my work extensively, and Shopify provides different images, image sizes automatically. You just specify that you want this image size in a template, and that's fine. If you have another project that doesn't support that, you can use image tailoring services. First, I can spell it. Verful, image tailor, Pixulate, ReSRC, ImageX, and Cloudinary. The first one is free. It acts as a proxy. You just prepend their URL to your image URL, and they automatically provide different sizes to you. And Pixulate and ReSRC and ImageX are paid services that provide, in addition to scaling or resizing, they provide several filters for example, blurring or face detection, and so on and so on. I encourage you to check out all 4 of them and see what might be useful for your future or existing projects. And the last one, Cloudinary, is a bit more complex. It serves as a library for your projects. It has an extensive API in XML and in JSON, and it supports organizing your images. A photo library in the cloud. So you can use any of those services to provide different images, image sizes, or you can use ImageMagick on your server and build a similar service yourself. Okay, so that's it. Do you have any questions?
Yes. So, there is a question. 2 questions. You'll be the second, okay? There was one first. Here you are.
Розумім по-польську.
Okay, I will ask in English.
Але będę odpowiedzieć po angielsku.
Okay. On your first example, you showed that when you refresh the page, you loaded the biggest image that was in your cache, but it's not the feature that is always needed. So, are we able to disable this using set?
It's up to a browser. So, as I said before, we, as web developers, only provide different images, and just say to the browser that you can use one of these, and the browser decides itself which image is better in the circumstances. And actually, I see some logic in that example after reload. Instead of downloading 3 images, 3 different images, it knows that all images are the same. So it just needs one variant. And since we don't have this options, I want smaller or best experience right now, the browser decides that we want the best experience, and it downloads it.
Yeah, but sometimes it might break your layout. For example, your list-apart example. If you have, if you loaded your web page horizontally, then you flip your phone.
Actually, I'm sorry. The question was what to do in the example as in a list apart. Use picture element because it's called an art direction. You provide completely different images, and you want to be sure that you provide it for the exact device that you have chosen. And that's why you use complex media queries, specify sources. You can even specify different picture types, file types in picture element. For example, you can use NSVG, and if the browser doesn't support it, you fall back to PNG, and so on and so on and so on. And basically, you have 15 lines of code for single images. If that's worth it in your project, go ahead. But we are talking, in all of my examples, we are talking about the same image, but scaled. So we provide different dimensions of the same image.
Okay, thanks.
All right, the next question is here.
Do you know other solution for lazy loading? Any alternative? Because I asking because I make a website for photography portfolio portfolio photographer, and there are many photos, and lazy loading is not so good for SEO because Googlebot when index website don't see photos on this site when came on
Actually,
the page.
it does. Well, it does see the SRC element, SRC attribute, sorry. So basically, in this example, Googlebot will see the basic image that you have supplied as a fallback. I've heard that Google actually parses JavaScript and tries to execute it and gets the final result. But if you are worried about that, you can simply specify SRC directly, SRC set attributes, and specify, albeit it will involve more work. You can specify your own size and your SRC set attribute without using lazy loads library. But I would recommend using RESP image polyfill anyway.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and the last question. Krzysztof.
So I heard that there is another specification coming up. It's called service workers. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one. Service workers are the kind of workers that acts as a kind of proxy between the website and the servers outside. And what you are able to do is to be a proxy between all the URLs that your page is using. So you have the ability to decide on the fly if someone is asking for this image, if you should provide a smaller copy or a bigger one or something like that.
Is it available as a...
Yeah,
actually, it is available as a service here. Sorry. The first one, the image tailor, is a part of a family of services that provide device detections, server-side device detections. So basically, you can use them directly, or you can use their information. They provide what device they guess what device you are serving.
Yeah, I was thinking about this service worker specification, which gives you ability to set a JavaScript in your browser that acts on a client side to do that. And I was thinking, did you test it maybe? It's in Firefox nightly now?
Well, no, I didn't.
Well, yeah.
It's available right now in Chrome, and right now it's been used for only for when there is no network. It's been used as a fallback mechanism that is more like a cache, so that you can read out the proxy, read out the request to the service worker instead of to the actual the host. Right now, they are not advised to use on the image, especially on the picture tag. The picture tag is especially designed to address this issue. Service worker is specially designed to address the network outage.
Well, I have two things to add to that. Yeah, thank you. The service, this kind of service worker involves a server. And what I have described is a front-end matter. That's the first part. Not always, we don't have an ability to use an external server or service when we're working with our clients.
Okay, it was not really about that. It was only client side. I will just we'll talk
and
about
that's
it in
the second.
bar.
Yes, that's the. I said that I have two things to say about it,
Sure.
and that's the second thing. E-commerce store owners are quite conservative. Well, it involves money, so not they don't want to experiment. They want to use proven things. So basically, I have a 2-year rule. If the technology is available for 2 years already, we can use it. I'm not using any fancy schmancy stuff. I'm using only the things that I can say that they definitely work 100%. Otherwise, they will scalp me.
All right, thank you very much.